Morning, beloveds. Happy Earth Day. It is Earth Day, and we went out for the run this morning, and it's 50 degrees out there. Hello, 50 degrees in South Texas in the end of April. The weather is weird. And two, the first thing I did was I went out and I happened to glance up and I thought, oh, the clouds are really wispy and they're pretty. And then I looked just a little bit to my right and went, rainbow! I mean, it was up in the, not arched over the horizon, but up in the you had to look directly up. But there was a rainbow. So, of course, I had my camera on me and I took some pictures, one of the wispy clouds and two of the rainbow. So there's a rainbow. The first thing I see is a rainbow. And then I got another. The magnolias are starting to bloom. The magnolia trees are starting to bloom. So there was one where you came around the corner and you can see all of the blossoms it's gonna have. Some of the ones at the top were starting to bloom, so I took a picture of that because magnolia blossoms. And then there was a place where there were two different amaryllises, and I could get them in one shot. So I was like, yes. And then I took a picture of the cactus. And so we're at the end of the walk. We're literally in our cul-de-sac walking around, and I saw a red-headed woodpecker. And at first, when I first saw him, I was like, he's on a tree and he's hopping around the tree. And I'm like, I'm not going to be. And then we saw him fly. And I don't walk in people's yard. I don't. Because, it's rude. So, but I was like, I'm about to chase this thing. And then it flew into, because it's like, if I can take a picture from the sidewalk, that's what I'm going to do. And then he flew and he was on the corner of a house. Whether or not any of the pictures of the woodpecker come out or not, I got to see him this morning. So, hey. So Earth Day, rainbow, flowers, trees, birds. I mean, I saw some squirrels, but they weren't anywhere near as exciting. And I did have a blue jay fly over me. And if I had my camera up, which I didn't because I was running at the time, just to see him from underneath with those wings spread, oh, it was beautiful. So, because I have a special affection for blue jays because they're highly entertaining in the park. But, yeah. So, happy Earth Day. Go out and enjoy Mother Earth. But, April 22nd, our title is, I Think Rightly and Lovingly This Day, and the law produces this in my affairs. And the Bible quote is, in earth as it is in heaven. Matthew 6:10. Which makes me question now, because I always thought that it was on earth as it is in heaven. But this says in earth as it is in heaven. Which makes me now go, how many Bible quotes do we quote wrong? All right. I believe that my life is governed by a divine law. I believe that this law is the way God acts in my experience. I know that I can use this law to demonstrate any good thing. All of God's ideas are available to me, and I now accept them and give them to the law of mind to demonstrate. I use this law rightly because I give it only ideas of good. I know that what I think and feel, I bring forth into my experience. I think rightly and lovingly this day, and the law produces this in my affairs. My earth is my world in which I live. My heaven is my consciousness when it is thinking rightly. The law of mind is the link between my thinking and my experiencing. Always, I demonstrate my thought because the law never fails. No treatment is ever lost. No God-given idea which I assimilate will ever fail to materialize. Divine mind and its ideas are my mind, and I am a transmitter of them. I turn my experience into a heavenly one. I look out and see the glories of perfection around me. I look within and behold God's truth offering itself to me. I make heaven happen through my right thinking. My heaven demonstrated shows other people the way to theirs. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and the kingdom of heaven is within me. Linking these two great ideas together assures me of heaven in earth today. I deliberately think of good. I deliberately discipline my emotions to that which is godlike. I have faith in the law, and my prosperity this day is assured. Okay, so I'm going to go back, but initially the first thing that I thought about is I believe that this law is the way that God acts in my experience. So I am a student of mythology. I love world mythology. I adore it. One of my absolute heroes is Joseph Campbell. And one of the reasons why I love him is because he made world religions accessible to everybody by collecting the stories, the mythology of the world religions. So, because I mean, we all grew up with Greek mythology, Greek and Roman mythology. So we know those stories. We know about Zeus and Jupiter, same god, two different cultures, and Venus and Aphrodite and Hera and, I cannot remember Juno, her Roman counterpart. And one of the things that we know about those gods is that they were jealous and promiscuous and just all in all human on a grander scale. They had all of the foils and there's an F word in there, but I can't, failings. It's not the word I want. Foibles. I think that's the word I want. That humans have, just on a grander scale. And I think because we were taught this as children, we have a tendency to kind of apply that to God. And that's one of the reasons why Science of Mind teaches that God is not a person. God is not a person. God is not a personality. God is a pattern. God is, and that's why we talk about the law. So if I believe this law is the way God acts in my experience, God acts the same way every time. There is no deviation. God doesn't wake up one day and decide that I don't get whatever it is that I want. God doesn't do that. It's like, if I do the work, then I get the whatever it is that I'm working for. God doesn't change that. God can't one day wake up and decide, well, Lisa's been working really hard and to get this day, Lisa's been working really hard on this degree that she's been working on. And her grades are good and what have you, but I don't think she should have it, so I'm going to throw this in her path to make it harder for her to finish. God doesn't do that. God does not do that. Now, we do that to each other. So that's one of the things that's super important to remember is God is, and I'm going to use the word predictable. God is predictable. Like gravity is predictable. Like the sunrise is predictable. The sunrise comes up every day. Gravity works every day. There's never a time that gravity decides, no, today everybody gets to just float off the surface of the earth. That's the way we view God. We view God on that grand scale. We don't assign personality to God. So, when you hear, I believe that my life is governed by a divine law. I believe that that law is the way God acts in my experience. Believe that it is a pattern. Believe that it is predictable. Believe that it works. Believe that there's not a day that it's going to decide not to. Now, do we always get what we want? No. But that's not because the law decided not to. It can be relationships, interactions. It can be simply that we didn't put in the work, that we think we wanted it, but that's not really what we wanted it. But the law works. The law is predictable. If I do A plus B, then I get C. Okay? God doesn't decide that B should be Z, or that the C should be X. That's not how God works. God, I hate to use the word predictable, but God is predictable in the way the sunrise is predictable. God is predictable in the way gravity is predictable. It is on a grand scale. God just doesn't decide one day not to work. Creativity happens. I mean, look at what's we had that terrible snowstorm freeze here that our plants don't know what to do with, our houses don't know what to do with, our animals don't know what to do with. And look at the way nature has bounced back. I'm watching the palm trees grow back, and it's a phenomenal lesson in the law. God can't just decide not to work. Okay, so I think rightly and lovingly this day, and the law produces this in my affairs. So when we work the law works for us. The law won't just decide not to, because the law can't. All right. I believe that my life is governed by a divine law. I believe that this law is the way God acts in my experience. I've already beaten that sentence to death. I know that I can use this law to demonstrate any good thing. I know that I can use this. That's the whole point. Ernest is like, we've got this pattern. This is predictable. If we do A, we should get B. This is how we do this. So he said, there's a method to this. Let's work that. All of God's ideas are available to me, and I now accept them and give them to the law of mind to demonstrate. So we have to accept them, and then we have to work them. We have to do the work. We are a responsible co-creator in this. That is our job. I use this law rightly because I give it only ideas of good. I use this law rightly because I give it only ideas of good. What does that mean? Benefits everybody. Doesn't take away from anybody. Doesn't harm anybody. That trends towards love, kindness, compassion, creativity. I know that what I think and feel, I bring forth into my experience. Sometimes we look around at our world, our world, and go, how did it get this way? And then we go, well, let me check my head. So the first thing I do is I check my head, but then I also have to check my relationships, because it's not all me. It is not all me. It is who I am in relationship with. And that is on a small scale, as in the person that I share my house with, my partner. So there's that. And then the greater relationships of the community, of the country, of the world. So, there is some complementary work going on there. I know that what I think and feel, I bring forth into my experience. I think rightly and lovingly this day, and the law produces this in my affairs. Have you noticed that those days that you wake up feeling good, you have a better day, and those wake ups that you feel not so good, if you don't take steps to change that feeling, your day kind of trends that way? But if you take the steps first thing in the morning by doing your spiritual practice, you can absolutely turn around a day like that. And at any point in the day, you can turn around a day like that by taking your spiritual steps. My earth is my world in which I live. My heaven is my consciousness when it is thinking rightly. Heaven is a place on earth, because heaven comes from here. Heaven comes from here. I think it was Jean Paul Sartre that said hell is other people. Heaven is right here. This is heaven. It starts here and here. The law of mind is the link between my thinking and my experiencing. The more good I look for, the more good I see. The more love I look for, the more love I see. The more love I give, the more love I get. Always, I demonstrate my thought because the law never fails. Gravity can't just decide not to do it. No treatment is ever lost. No God-given idea which I assimilate will ever fail to materialize. Now, no treatment is ever lost. And no God-given idea that I assimilate, because I have to expect it and accept it. I have to accept it and expect it. So I have a part to play in this. It will never fail to materialize. Now, will it always materialize the way I expect it? No. No. If I have done my due diligence and opened up to Spirit to bring it to me in whatever way Spirit does, the good will materialize, but it may not look like what I expect. It may come in a completely different package. But I am open to it. So sometimes we get what we want, but we don't realize that we've gotten what we want because it didn't look like we were expecting. Oh my God, that's the plot of a Hallmark movie that I just watched. That's exactly what it was. And it was a relationship. She meets an old flame from high school or college, and at the same time she starts a friendship with somebody new. She thought she wanted this. What she actually wanted was this, but because she wasn't focused on this, that relationship developed. And then at that point she went, oh, it didn't come in the package I expected. So sometimes like I said, we get what we want. We just didn't realize because the package looked different. And that's Spirit. That's being open to Spirit bringing our good to us in its way. And us not getting all control freaky and going, it's got to look like this. So, no treatment is ever lost. No God-given idea which I assimilate will ever fail to materialize. It just may look different than we expect. And that can be a good thing. That can be a wonderful thing. Divine mind and its ideas are my heaven. Remember, heaven starts here. And I am a transmitter for them. I turn my every experience into a heavenly one. Shakespeare said, nothing is right or wrong, it's thinking that makes them so. I look out and see the glories of perfection around me. Remember, perfection is not flawless. Perfection is wholeness. Whole, all inclusive. I look within and behold God's truth offering itself to me. So where am I looking for God's truth? Right here. Right here. And then I see it all around me. But I start here. I start in that place within where I meet the unfiltered God. That place that Jesse talks about where nothing has ever been wrong. I make heaven happen through my right thinking. Because heaven starts with me. Heaven starts with you. You create your own heaven. My heaven demonstrated shows other people the way to theirs. My heaven demonstrated. When people see me happy, then they go, what does she know that I don't? If she can do it, I can do it. And that's the whole reason I started the Running Rev Ryan. If she can do it, I can do it. Let me use the guidepost that she has put up. Everyone walks their own path, but I can hold a lamp and I can light your path. I can make your path a little easier to see, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. So my heaven demonstrated shows other people the way to theirs. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and the kingdom of heaven is within me. It starts here. It starts here. Linking these two great ideas together assures me of heaven on earth today. I deliberately think good. I deliberately discipline my emotions to that which is godlike. I don't have to list them for you, but I'm going to list a few of them. Peace, harmony, creativity, unity, joy, happiness, love, kindness, compassion. That's what we mean by godlike. But we also mean predictable. We also mean predictable in the way that gravity is predictable, in the way that the sunrise is predictable. Think godlike. I have faith in the law, and my prosperity this day is assured. All right, so I am going to tell you your mission today, should we choose to accept it, our mission today is to deliberately discipline our emotions to that which is godlike. Yep, that's what I'm asking you. I am asking you to be the godling that you are, to be that beloved child in whom God is well pleased. That's what I'm asking for you to do today. And do you know one of the ways that you start that? By doing something loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself today. That's it. Start there. Because heaven starts here. Heaven starts here, right here. Once you recognize heaven from that unfiltered place that you meet God, you bring it forth into your experience. And when you bring it forth into your experience, you bring it forth into everyone's experience. And everybody goes, how did you do that? And you show them by being your authentic self. You show them by being that child of God. You show them by pointing out to them by living your good. By living your good. By being your authentic self. By being that divine spark that I know that you are. All right, beloveds. I am going to move into the process of my day, but I am going to encourage you. I've already encouraged you to do the loving, kind, compassionate thing. I will always encourage you to do that because that is how we change the world. But I'm going to encourage you, go get a face full of sun first thing this morning. Just a few minutes, 5-10 minutes. It will change your day. Drink some water and open your windows. Get some fresh air. Go for a walk. Go enjoy Earth Day. Go enjoy Earth Day. Go enjoy the earth. Go hug a tree. I literally do hug trees. I'm not the only one either, because I know a couple of ministers that do. Go hug a tree. Go listen to the birds sing. Open the windows of your soul and allow that breath of heaven to remind you, you live in heaven now. Earth is your environment. Heaven starts right here. All right? It is your thinking that makes it so. All right, beloveds. There we are. There we are. Happy Earth Day to you. There is a prayer circle today. It's at 7 p.m. I believe it's done on Telebridge by practitioners Marissa and John. So if you're interested in that, that's a Thursday, by the way. Email info@creativelife.org to get that information. And I will, Reverend David will be on with Facebook Live with you around 5. I'll be back on Facebook Live at 9 a.m. These talks are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and see how excited I got on Earth Day 2021, there they will be. Have a wonderful day, beloveds, and know that you are loved.